Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is Paul, the Canadian Snowman, here with some more geography. Now, Rhonda, Papua New Guinea. I've definitely heard of this country before. Definitely mean that the name kind of rolls off the tongue pretty well, right? So, definitely heard of it. And other than that, I don't know. Yeah. This seems to be like a big theme under my videos here, just not knowing anything. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so here's the video. All right. Come on, dude. Load up. All right. I guess you guys have dinosaurs. This is a dinosaur here. All right. Before I do, please hit that like and subscribe button below, please, and thank you. I'd appreciate it. And yeah, let's get to it. 3, 2, 1, bam.
Do you believe dinosaurs exist? Well, if you want to
Sure.
try and find one, Papua New Guinea is probably your best bet.
Awesome. Already like it.
to learn geography.
Now! Hey everyone, I'm your host Barbs. Welcome to the land of secrets and mysteries. Much of Papua New Guinea still remains undiscovered and shrouded in colorful enigma. Everything from the people to the reported sightings of strange unknown creatures resembling dinosaurs, this place gets very fascinating very quick. And we
Yes.
will jump into it very quick, like right now, to the globe.
I'm excited.
Papua New Guinea is like the bridge between Asia and the Pacific. Everything that moved east at some point usually passed through here. First of all, the country is located in Oceania, just about 100 miles or 160 kilometers above Australia's Cape York Peninsula. However, keep in mind these small islands just off the coast of Papua New Guinea actually belong to Australia as part of the Torres Strait Island chain, meaning that at its narrowest, Papua New Guinea is only about 4 kilometers away from Australia. It is part of the largest nation in the oceanic subregion known as Melanesia. The island is on a larger island called New Guinea, shared by the Papua and West Papua regions of Indonesia, which make up the second largest island in the world after Greenland. The border is actually not a straight line though. If you look closely, there is a slight indentation to the west at the Fly River. This was actually created in 1893 to allow better policing of the area by the British back when it was a colony. The country has somewhere over 600 islands, the largest one being called New Britain, which curves into New Ireland in the Bismarck Archipelago. The country is divided into 22 provinces, the autonomous region of Bougainville, and the capital district for the capital, Port Moresby, located in the south. Port Moresby, of course, holds the largest international airport, Jackson's International, and they also have the largest shipping port as well. Otherwise, the second largest city, Lae, of course, holds the second busiest airport, Lae's Nazab Airport. Getting around in the country is a little difficult, and most people actually prefer to fly regionally rather than taking a road. The reason being because many roads just don't exist. In the south, you have the Hiritano Highway. In the center, you have the
Yeah, he's probably gonna say the same. Well, why is that? Isn't like flying like a lot more expensive? I mean, I guess locally it might not be too expensive. Have those little putter jumper, planes. But wow, I mean, maybe it's the landscape. I guess we'll find out.
Islands and Ramu highways, and in the north you have the Northern Corridor. Roads also exist on the largest islands, however much of the country, especially on the interior, is inaccessible and isolated from land transport. So to get to most of them, people fly to the many small airports and airstrips, about 80 of them altogether.
Wow.
Interesting fact, the Rabaul airport was actually destroyed by a volcanic eruption. I mean, it was actually built at the foot of an active volcano, so I don't quite see how they could have missed it, but okay. In any case, if you were paying attention, we said that Papua New Guinea actually has an autonomous province, Bougainville. This place is interesting because it kind of wants to break away. For one, geographically, it's classified as the northernmost part of the Solomon Island chain, even though it's not part of the Solomon Islands as a country. Second, well, the real controversy started in the 70s. It was like,
All right, you two, after decades of being trust territories, I'm giving you independence.
finally! I can't wait to start my own thing!
No, like, you two are the same thing.
Wait, what?
You're mine now.
No, I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna make my own country. I'm gonna call it the Republic of the North Solomons.
Nobody's gonna recognize you guys.
And then it was like,
Whoa, you have like a lot of gold and copper.
yes, I do.
Hey, I want that gold and copper. And since you're in my country, I guess I can do that.
But it's going to ruin my environment, and you aren't going to share the wealth.
Here, we're back.
Yeah, eventually the war ended after 10 years, which led to a peace agreement facilitated by New Zealand, which led to autonomy and the promise of a referendum for independence in October of 2019. So shortly after this video is uploaded, it could be outdated.
Do you think, like, Bougainville will vote for independence?
Not my business to say, but recently New Caledonia voted to stick with France, so who knows? The Pacific Island region is shrouded with mystery. Like the notable sites to see if you decide to visit, such as the National Museum and Art Gallery, Rabaul, the volcano capital of the country, with the destroyed...
There you go. I just made my point. Hold on a second.
Such as the National Museum...
In the last video, I said, I think it was the last video, I said all museums just look awesome, you know, because the buildings of a museum are never just your normal box shape, you know, like a regular, you know, I don't know, public building would be, you know, they're always cool and neat looking, so it proves my point here, you know? I wasn't wrong. Anyways.
An art gallery, Rabaul, the volcano capital of the country, with the destroyed ruins, the Lai War Cemetery, the Parliament House, the J.K. McCarthy Museum, the Kokoda Track, and you can check out all of these festivals in various locations. Now those are all cool spots to check out, but the thing about Papua New Guinea is that the best thing to see is the unknown, the vast undiscovered interior that many people have not encroached upon. And it gets pretty intense. Like, what on earth is this, or this, or this? Find out in the next segment.
What? It doesn't surprise me at all, you know, like, I guess, you know, trying to find, like, cool and different things and, you know, in Papua New Guinea, because there really isn't any roads and you're just flying to places, so everything in between, it, you know, is just free, not, I don't know if it's free to explore, you know, but it really probably hasn't really, you know, been explored that much, you know, because, I don't know, I guess the locals probably been through a lot, but, you know, there's probably still a lot that can be explored. It's a big country. Anyways.
Those are all birds. The black bird of paradise, the western parotia, and the black sicklebill. Yeah, they have crazy birds here. We'll explain in a bit. But first, the land. Papua New Guinea sits right below the equator, which means on average they have a warm tropical climate situated between three seas, the Bismarck, the Solomon Sea, and the Coral Sea. These seas are beautiful, but hidden underneath is a complete tectonic mess. Papua New Guinea is part of the larger Ring of Fire and smashed right at the convergence of the Pacific and Australasian plates. This creates an underlying network of fissures, trenches, and fault lines that make the country incredibly susceptible to earthquakes and volcanic activity. The country has hundreds of volcanoes, 67 of which are listed as active today, New Britain alone hosting the most out of any other area of the country at 21. The most recent major eruption, however, occurred in 2018 on the island of Kadovar. The Ramu-Markham fault line cuts right through the north part of the country, and this in return is part of what makes the Bismarck mountain chain the largest and longest in the country. Here you can find the tallest peak, Mount Willem, which depending on which continent you place the country is the tallest peak of Oceania and is one of the few places where you can find snow on a peak close to the equator. From these mountains flow the two longest rivers, the Sepik in the north and the Fly River, which makes that weird border thing. Next to the Fly River is the largest lake, Lake Murray, which is basically an engorged...
I just want to ask about the volcanoes, the people that live there. Is there a lot of, like, people, like, little towns that, I don't know, live around those active volcanoes, or, like, the towns or the people who live there, they're mostly like at a pretty good distance where if one does erupt, you know, there's no worries about, you know, people getting killed, you know. Just kind of curious of, you know, how many people might actually live near those active volcanoes. So that'd be kind of scary.
Tree-shaped estuary that locals have claimed has some kind of dinosaur-looking creature living by it, which is undocumented or proven. The country is about 70% forested, and most of it is heavily concentrated in the west, near the border. In addition to the forests of the Indonesian side, this makes the New Guinea rainforest the third largest in the world after the Amazon and the Congo. Generally, the country is divided into 4 geographic regions: the highlands, the islands, the Momase, and the southern region. Basically, the highlands are the mountains. They have a cooler climate with higher elevations. The Momase have lush, fertile valleys where much of the agriculture is done. The southern areas are flat, humid, and marshy, and the islands are tropical and islandy. Yeah, quite an interesting setup, right, Bob Saget? Yes, it is. Not only is Papua heavily forested, but they have some of the most unique animal species known to man.
You said they have dinosaurs, right?
Okay, it's kind of like a hook to maintain audience retention. I'm not the only YouTuber that does it.
Ah, so you're lying for views.
I'm not lying. I'm just saying people have reported something that could or could not be true and needs more evidence.
What? Isn't it your job to report facts?
It's a fact that
That thing looks like a zebra, like a duck with, I don't know, giraffe's head, you know, but with zebra stripes. I don't know. I don't know. That's pretty crazy. It's like yeah.
Could not be true and needs more evidence.
Isn't it your job to report facts?
It's a fact that people have made reports, and it's your job to finish your last line in the dialogue that I wrote in this script. You did a good job. Good job, Ryan.
Thanks.
Anywho, like Australia, Papua New Guinea is riddled with marsupials and monotremes like the tree kangaroo, the echidna, crash bandicoots, and the bronze quoll. If Papua New Guinea was highlighted by an animal type, though, it would have to be birds, and specifically the birds of paradise. And what are birds of paradise? Well, this is usually the part where I take my triple shot espresso break and then Noah comes in, but Noah's not here. He's visiting his family in Iowa for vacation, so instead, I got the next best thing. The guy who introduced me to Noah at his wedding, Caleb.
I quit my job so I could film the geography in Hargeisa.
Yes, you did. I kind of ruined your life a little bit. If anyone needs an amazing cinematographer, hire Caleb. Until then, this can be your side gig. And by the way, we shot this out of sequence, so your shirt is about to change in 3, 2.
Over 40 species of the lavish, extremely colorful bird of paradise species are known to exist, and all have been documented here. Known for their aesthetic dimorphism, in which males display extreme plumage, tails, tufts, and wattles, usually used in an array of fascinating and alien-like mating rituals.
Yeah,
the nation
weird.
is rich in minerals, and mineral extraction as well as a small petroleum industry makes up about a quarter of their GDP. Resource-wise, about 85% of the population lives off some kind of semi-subsistence farming and forestry, which makes up about another quarter of their GDP. Common staples include crops like taro, sweet potatoes, yams, and national favorite, sago, which is the spongy center of various palm stems scraped out and made in various forms like paste, pancakes, and rolled starch balls. Which brings us to food! As mentioned, most dishes will probably contain a staple root starch and meat, usually pork or fish, the two most common proteins. Some dishes that you guys, the Papua New Guinean geography suggested we mention include things like nangu, chicken pat, sak dumplings, kava, and the national dish, mumu. Alright, it was fun being Noah for a day, but now I have to go back to being the camera guy. What do I do now? Just say something about demographics?
Just stand there for like 2 seconds, don't move.
Why?
Oh, we forgot to do a cheesy special effect.
True.
Thank you, Caleb. Now back into the box. Now, one thing you have to understand is that only about 20% of the nation is urban. Many have never even contacted outsiders or seen a non-Papuan person. Breaking up the people groups of Papua New Guinea is incredibly difficult because most sources don't give specific percentages. I literally had to go to a website called the Joshua Project that listed the individual ethnic groups with estimated population numbers, and I had to do the math myself on this one. So if my calculations are correct, the country has a little under 9 million people and is the most linguistically diverse nation with over 850 languages and ethnic groups. The vast majority of the country, at somewhere around 97%, are classified under the broader Papuan Melanesian Islander ethnic group, and within this 97%, the largest groups are detribalized peoples, mostly urban dwellers that have either distanced themselves from traditional tribal labels or have mixed tribal heritage at around 12.2%. Otherwise, the Enga and Akali are the largest group at about 3.4%, the Melpa at about 2.5%, the various Chimpu peoples together make up about 2.3%, and the Huli make up about 2.1%. The remainder of the Papuan Melanesians are a myriad of nearly 850 ethno-linguistic people groups and clans ranging from less than 100 members to over 100,000 each. After that, non-Melanesian islanders like Micronesians and Polynesians make up about another 2%, whereas others like whites and Asians finish it off at about 1%. They use the kina as their currency, which was actually named after the kina shell, which they literally used as a national currency in the 1930s. They use the Type I plug outlet and they drive on the left side of the road. Now, as mentioned, the majority of people in Papua New Guinea, although culturally diverse, fall under the broader general Melanesian classification in terms of ethnicity. Melanesians are a vibrant islander people group known for their distinct customs and even physical features. Many of them, for example, some of the people in the Tolai tribe, actually carry the TYRP1 gene that gives them natural blonde hair. This makes Melanesians the only people group outside of European heritage that grow natural blonde hair. Essentially, these Melanesian people played an important role as like the originators of everything islander in the Pacific. Most Micronesians, Polynesians, and general Austronesians all have some kind of connection to the island of New Guinea, whether it's through ancestry or passing through. It was the launch pad that kind of kicked everything off. In any case, Papua New Guinea in itself has so many people groups that don't even speak the same language.
So how they communicate and stuff?
Great question, Keith. The country
Yeah.
has 3 official languages: English, Tokpisin, and Hirimotu. The one that most people use is Tokpisin, derived from the words talk and pigeon, as it is an English Creole language. It's really interesting because if you're an English speaker, just reading or hearing it, you might kind of pick it up. Actually, you know what? Here are some of you guys, the Papuan geography peeps, explaining.
Hi, my name is Kenny. Tokpisin is an English-based Creole. If I would say, hey, bata, you go away. So you can hear some of the English words. For example, I said bata, which is a short form of brata, meaning brother or dude. And you, same as the you in English. And go and where.
One phrase that I know is minosave, meaning I don't know. One name belong you, meaning what's your name. Sounds similar to English, but it's not really English at all.
Thank you. Now,
That is cool. I did pick up some of that, so that is kind of really neat. It's like a secret language, man. That's cool. So I bet, like, maybe, I mean, it's not the same, but it is kind of this, it sounds similar. So I bet if you lived there for a while enough, you'd probably be able to pick it up pretty decently, right?
Now, for culture, keeping it old school is definitely an understatement for Papua New Guinea. You might even see people wearing like traditional grass skirts and stuff at the airport. Because there are over 800 ethno-linguistic people groups in Papua New Guinea, it would take way too long to talk about all of them, but some generally well-known tribes and traditions can be highlighted, which will be explained by Random Hannah.
Without a doubt, Papua New Guinea can be considered one of the most colorfully traditional nations on Earth. And since there are so many tribes, I think that I need some help. Let's bring in Ian! The Huli tribe of the Highlands is probably the most well-known tourist interacting tribe. They are used to foreigners visiting them as they put on their colorful body paint and headdresses.
The Asaro tribe in the Eastern Highlands is also very interactive with tourists, known for having the Mudmen war dance that uses ashen body paint and sculpted monster masks traditionally used to scare off enemies.
The Korowai and Konbai tribes
bet.
are known for living in tree houses, sometimes as high as 140 feet or 43 meters.
What?
The Bai Ning people are famous for their fire dance, jumping over flames and walking on coals while wearing huge bird-imitating masks and flammable grass skirts to the beat of kundu drums.
The Biel people are known for making very elaborate red clay pots. And the women of the Oro tribe are known to have maze-like face tattoos.
The Abalam tribe have wide, circular-shaped masks resembling owls and yams.
Many tribes, like the Anga, practice a form of mummification on their dead, done through a smoke-curing process, and then the bodies are left outside on display for the village.
Remember the Toraja people from the Indonesia episode? Yeah, it's like that, even though they're like 1,500 miles away.
The people of the Trobriand
Yeah, I would definitely be afraid to walk into. Imagine you're just like a tourist going on a hike, and you're just like, "Oh, cool town, man. Let me see what's up." And then you see like a bunch of like corpses, kind of like all over the place around it, and then they have like these scary masks and stuff, man. Oh man, I would probably run the other way. So you guys definitely, man. I think you guys would definitely scare. I think you guys are number one when it comes to scaring off whatever you're trying to scare off, man. It's gonna work. Wow, that was definitely interesting.
People from the Indonesia episode? Yeah, it's like that, even though they're like 1,500 miles away.
The people of the Trobriand Islands have created their own version of cricket that fuses a performance known as the octopus dance.
The Min people groups have a very interesting caste system based on beliefs that have parallels to the Vedic system in ancient Hinduism.
Some Bougainville Islanders use bamboo pan flutes and wear huge bulbous headdresses as depicted on their flag.
Ian, you are no longer needed. Thank you so much for your help. Get back in your box. Woo! And after all that, that's not even scratching the surface. For what it's worth, though, it is said that 3 things mainly unite the Papua New Guineans: God, rugby, and Tokpisin. I'm gonna put Ian down now. The dominant religion most claim to adhere to in Papua New Guinea, at somewhere around 95%, is Christianity. Traditionally, many of the people groups came from a background of Amnist and Papuan ritualist belief that ranged from tribe to tribe. Otherwise, almost all Papua New Guineans can agree they love rugby. Their national team, the Kumals, is cheered on by everyone in every province from every tribe.
Oh,
they
that's
sing, they
awesome.
chant, and scream. Speaking of which, that brings us to Keith's stupid music segment.
For the longest time, Papua New Guinea's traditional music genres were wildly unheard of. Only recently, in the early 1990s, did this dude, that guy, record and release an album highlighting tribal chants. One instrument that is quite universal and intertribal throughout much of the country is the Kundun drum. It is used at a variety of performances, celebrations, and rituals. Over time, much outside influence made its way into Papua New Guinea eventually. Soldiers in World War II introduced the ukulele and the guitar in the 1960s. Rock came in the 70s, like you had some reggae. And that's pretty much all I got.
That's right. Thank you, Keith. Finally, Papua New Guinea was kind of tossed around a lot throughout its history. It was kind of like,
Mine!
Northern part mine.
Southern part mine!
No, northern part mine.
Mine! Yours to manage, but ultimately still mine. All of mine. Australia's.
Northern part mine.
No! All mine!
no, everybody just shut up. I'm free.
Can I leave you?
No, you're mine. And that's basically the history of the nation. I mean, if you don't include the first wave of migrants from the Sunda and Sahul areas from 50,000 years ago and the second wave 2,500 years ago, I guess that means all we have to do now is mention the famous people. Some notable people from Papua New Guinea or born in Papua New Guinea or of Papua New Guinean descent that you guys, the Papua New Guinean geography people suggested we mention, include people like Michael Somare, these rugby players, Amy and George Shepard, Sir Kiki Geno, Dika Tua, Toya Wisil, George Talek, William Takaku, Sir Makere Moralta, and Archie Thompson. So yeah, Papua New Guinea has a lot of backstory, a lot of lush flora and fauna, a lot of different ethno-linguistic people groups, and as we will find out, a lot of diplomatic interaction. Moving on. As mentioned, Papua New Guinea is kind of like the hub and link between Asia and Oceania, and things get interesting when you connect the dots. For one, as a Commonwealth country, they have always had ties to other former British colonial states in the area. For example, New Zealand helped facilitate the drama in the past, and many Papua New Guinean locals move and work in New Zealand. Japan actually did quite a bit of development in World War II, especially in the Sepik area, and today they help fund schools and infrastructure. Many tourists come in and see the sites of their fallen ancestors. The first prime minister actually spoke Japanese as well. China has a love-hate relationship. Chinese merchants have been working on the island since before European colonialism. Although a sizable portion of modern business is done with the Chinese, locals have expressed concern over the escalating power struggle and have even rioted against Chinese-owned businesses. Nonetheless, China is still a key player in their diplomacy. In terms of their best friends, however, most Papua New Guineans would probably say culturally all the other Melanesian nations, most especially the Solomon Islands and Vanuatu though. They speak similar pidgin languages, many people travel and marry people from these countries. They are also co-founders of the Melanesian Spearhead Group, and together these three nations get each other the most. Australia, on the other hand, is the closest in terms of pretty much everything else. As a former dependent territory, they've kept close even after independence. They are the biggest trading partner, investor, aid provider. The English they are taught even follows the Australian accent. The native Aborigine population are technically cousins of Papuans, and even though there was a brief halt with tension over the 2006 Julian Moti affair, they've moved on and enjoy a pint nonetheless over a rugby match. In conclusion, Papua New Guinea is a place of color, contrast, origins, yet mystery. When you come here, you have the clues, but never enough. Go ahead, find that dinosaur. Stay tuned, Paraguay is coming up next.
Paraguay! Woo! Oops, in the wrong button. There you go. Alright, well, Papua New Guinea. Man, you guys got a bunch of cool, mysterious stuff in your country, man. It makes sense, though. I mean, you can't drive anywhere. I mean, you gotta fly everywhere. You got a bunch of, like, cool, some scary, tribes in the woods that, if you did try to hike across, the country, you might run into. But they're friendly, right? They just, they just appear non-friendly, so. For those watching, if you end up going there and going on a hike and you run into some, well, you watched the same episode I did, so I don't have to warn you. But anyways, yes. It seems like a cool, friendly country, and I guess if we brought if you want to start a good conversation, just bring up rugby. It sounds like it seems like everyone's kind of, that's one of those things that kind of unites everyone. Everyone cheers for. So really cool stuff. Yeah, I really didn't know where you guys were located. Now I definitely do, and just it seems like another cool, really nice country. So, anyways, I don't know. I guess where's the best place to visit? Is it that island, that just what's the island called? Just off the mainland? I'm not sure. But yeah, because you guys apparently get a lot of tourists, especially around the World War II stuff. But anyways, guys, hope you guys liked this video. Please hit that like and subscribe button below. And I will catch you guys in future videos doing every country in the world. And definitely check out some of the war and history playlists I got going on. So, yeah. Appreciate you guys. You guys have a nice day, and peace. I'm out of here. Thanks for watching.